All right, guys, I had plenty of you asking me to do a video regarding Damian Lillard. And so far, this is what we've heard. The Celtics, the Heat, the Lakers, and the Warriors are interested in Damian Lillard. So before we continue today's video, I want to hear your thoughts down below. Do you expect Damian Lillard to sign with any of these teams? From the reporting, it seems that Damian Lillard will not sign with a team this year. That is because if he does not sign this year, he gets all his money from the Bucks, and the longer he waits to sign, aka rehabs, does all his business, he'll be able to double dip. You're only allowed to double dip once in your career, meaning that typically if you are bought out, waived, whatever it may be, your salary is being paid out by said team, and they'll carry the dead cap. However, when you get picked up by a team, if you're getting paid already dead money by a team, typically players will choose or line it up that if they know they can double dip 1 year, which is usually the most lucrative year that they can do so, they'll do it because you'll never be able to do it again in your career. So he'll probably wait till next year because then the final year, it's just the way how his contract was structured. He'll be able to maximize his profits. Now, what are the reports coming from? So the Athletic is reporting that the Golden State Warriors, the Boston Celtics, the Lakers, and from other reporting, we've heard that the Miami Heat are interested in Damian Lillard, who averaged just about 25.7 assists, almost 5 rebounds in 58 games, shooting 45% from the field, 38% from three, and being a 62% true shooter. To me, that's one of those guys who still showed he can compete at a high level. Now, he's coming off a torn Achilles. He's not going to be the same guy that he once was. I think that's just being evident. That's just being aware to me of what his value is. Now, what would a deal for Lillard look like? I'd assume if he were to sign a deal, it'd be like a 2 to 3 year deal with an option on it, and maybe it's front or back loaded. So teams can set it up to incur the least amount of cap hit. Now, Damian Lillard is 34 years old. You're going to at best be getting a guy who's going to be 35, maybe turning 36 into the season that you're going into with him bringing in. We know that there's a few teams interested in. So before we can start or continue today's video, I'd like to hear your thoughts down below in the comments section. What do you guys think? Now, the Boston Celtics would be a great destination. They have Payne Pritchard, they have Max Shulga and J.D. Davison behind Derek White and Anthony Simons. They just recently traded Drew Holiday, who, ironically, Drew Holiday was kind of traded for Damian Lillard for the Bucks. And right here, he would be able to sit behind Pritchard and our boy, Mr. Shulga, and Anthony Simons. So that's going to allow them to not feel rushed and then maybe even extend Anthony Simons, flip him once Damian's ready. And Damian already has a working relationship prior with Anthony Simons. The rest of the squad, you wouldn't feel rushed, and then his injury recovery would coincide with Jason Tatum's injury recovery. If this is truly a gap year, this is somebody that fits very well into Boston's organization. And as I said earlier, what is Damian Lillard's value? I really think it's going to be the full mid-level exception, best case scenario. Now, going to the Lakers, everyone wants this to be kind of the thing that happens. You're assuming that Austin Reeves gets the max, and having Reeves, Luka Doncic, regardless if LeBron James is here or not, this would allow you to move Damian Lillard to point guard. Luka would play the shooting guard, and Reeves could be the sixth man or play shooting guard, and Doncic plays more of a wing role. And then whoever, if it's still Rui Hachimura, is at the power forward position, and whoever is their center of the future is still going to be there, which will allow them to have, multiple options to move forward with. So, again, these are both long-term plays. So, again, you would also be doing this probably to get around the aprons and everything that you would be facing. Because right now, if we go ahead and look at Spot Rack, I think they're the ones who are doing the best job of tracking the NBA salaries and everything as they come in. Because I work at Hoop Site, but one of the things that happens to us is with everything that goes on, you kind of it gets all bogged down. So right now, if we look at the current cap space, teams like Boston and Los Angeles, they don't have a ton of room to wiggle with, okay, to make moves to improve the roster. So if you look into next year, if you were to wait to make this move, Los Angeles, Boston, and at this point, these teams, are still not in great salary cap positions, but they'll be in better ones or have more flexibilities to maybe make moves to improve. Now, we all know there's been the long-standing connection. Damian Lillard wants to go here. They want him. Davion Mitchell will be the perfect backup. Terry Rozier is an expiring contract, and it's interesting to say the least if you guys haven't been paying attention to everything that's gone on, and specifically the Miami Heat are one of the teams that I find rather interesting. So listen to this. Terry Rozier only has $24.9 million guaranteed in his contract. Obviously, if the team or if he plays at least 70 games this year, it becomes fully guaranteed. While Kyle Anderson has no money guaranteed this year on his contract, and it increases to full if he was not waived by or if he's not waived by June 28th to 2026, and that guarantee is not for this season but for next season. So you have some flexibility right here, and it's a full roster. And obviously, take out Terry Rozier, insert Damian Lillard, and I can tell you for a fact, multiple people have told me that Terry Rozier was their backup option when they didn't get Damian Lillard. Yep, Terry Rozier was Plan B. What a good Plan B that was. So to me, I find that rather interesting because look, you're an organization. If this roster doesn't work, or if you come up just a tad bit short for a team that's still been looking for a point guard, in my opinion, they are kind of the team that might be able to elevate themselves. Now, Golden State, if he's trying to make a homecoming Bay Area return, be the sixth man for this team, which this would be the lowest risk. Like in all the other teams, I think the Lakers would be the second lowest as I sit down, just because I want to. The Lakers would be the second lowest. Actually, I'll change this back up because I'm going to sit up. I forgot I have that pen sitting there for a reason. But the Lakers are the second because you already have Luka Doncic. But my thing with the Warriors and the Celtics, even the Celtics, basically the Heat would want him to be a star part of their team. I think the Warriors and the Celtics, you have the least amount of expectations. And they're just like, if you can be a six man for us, that's a winning situation for them. And I think the biggest thing here is imagine Damian Lillard, Steph Curry in a starting lineup, or Dame coming off the bench. But I would assume B-Paul would start. But Dame, Curry, Butler, Green, either Quentin Post, Trace Jackson Davis, maybe another big that they sign. But they have options right there. So I think that one's the most interesting to me about all of this. So with that being said, what do you think is going to happen and why? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Quick little video to just discuss the landing spots for Mr. Damian Lillard.